Hello YouTube, how you doing? This is Mike in Detroit, and we're going to tackle the song All the Things You Are. Today we're going to maybe have to do this in a couple of videos. We'll see how it goes. I have here up on the screen the chords to this song, and so if you don't have a fake book or a real book or something that shows what these chords are, you might want to jot them down, because that's what we're going to be talking about. Usually this is a song that beginners don't want to tackle because lots of reasons. One is it shifts through about 5 keys throughout the whole song, but I am going to do my best to try to simplify this for all of you guys. And then later on in the video, I'll show you a couple of voicings that we talked about earlier, like the Kenny Barron voicings, like big band voicings, that you certainly can apply to this song. So I'm stalling here, so if you need to, you can do a screen capture of these chords. Okay. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to bring in my virtual keyboard if I can find it here. Here we go. There it is. And let's get things lined up. Good. Close enough for them were. So when you look at this song, let me bring this in. And this is more of a well, that's gonna hide my so when you look at this song, let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. Let's see if I can blow that up. Yep, I can. So let's go down here. So let's talk about this just for a second, and then we'll do some playing here as well. So the song starts on this F minor, but don't worry about that too much. What we want is destination, and what key are we in. Now we can certainly tell the key from this key signature right here that we're in A flat, but this is the clue right here, right? So right now when the song starts, we're in the key of A flat. So how do we interpret this F minor? Well, in the key of A flat, that's a 6 chord. So what we have is a 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. Okay, now that is what we call a chunk. Oh, that's what I call a chunk. So basically, we're going to put a full stop right there. And if I was practicing this song and if I didn't know it, I would get that chunk. Why are certain songs way more beneficial than other songs? Songs like Autumn Leaves or this particular song. Because you're going to see 6, 2, 5, 1 to 4 all over the place in jazz. So here we are with a 6 chord. That B minor chord is a 2 chord. Arguably one of the most favorite jazz standards of all times, All the Things You Are. Now let's see. Let's take this, I don't know, let's take this, let me change colors. This 2-5-1 right here in A flat. If you have watched any of my other videos, you know that the default is this. There's the 2 chord. And don't worry, I'll let you see the virtual keyboard. I just ran out of real estate on my screen here. So this is a bit of ear training. Probably good that you can't see my virtual keyboard. Here's the 2 chord. lot of times it'll go 2, 5, 1 to 6. 2, 5, 1 to 6. That's just a circle. Happens in Blue Moon. It happens thousands of songs. So 2, 5, 1, 6. Now another way to play that. So now you see how we're working with this chunk. How else could you play that? There's a 2 minor 9. There's a 1 chord. So what am I trying to tell you? Work with this chunk. 2, 6, 2, 5, 1 to 4. 1 to 4 is very gospel-y to my, very soulful. Here is, we're in the key of A flat 1. So there's another little chunk here, 1 to that 4 chord. Now you put all that together, you got, see if your ear can actually hear this progression. 6, 2, 5, to 1, to 4. Okay, so now we're going to change the key. We're going to, oops, wrong. Let's go here. Wrong. So you got all that, right? So song analysis is a good thing. So now we've got to deal with this little chunk right here. And that means before we were in the key of, let's see here, we were in the key of A flat, now we're going to move to the key of C. Now that says a D minor 7 flat 5. I typically play that as a D minor to C. But if you want to play it as a D minor 7 flat 5, usually when I see a minor 7 flat 5, I'm usually thinking that I'm going to C minor this. But in this case, it's written here as D minor 7 flat 5 to C major. Your choice. Most of the time I'll play it as a D minor to a G7 to a C. 2, 5, 1 to C. So that is another chunk right there. So we have now you put those two blocks together, those two chunks together, you essentially have a lot of the song. We may not get into it in this video, but now this C major is going to turn into this C minor right there. And let me slide this up so you can see it. Now what's going on? Okay, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but where is our target? Here it is over here. That E flat major is the key that we just shifted to. What is this C minor 7? Well, that's a 6 chord. So once again, we have a 6, 2, 5, 1. In other words, the song is repeating itself in a different key. 1 to a 4, go up a whole step, and do you see this chunk is the same as this chunk, only in a different key? That ain't making any sense. And that's why this song is so special, because whoever crafted these chords together is in a sneaky sort of way put together a roadmap for you to follow, but it's always pleasing to your ear. It even goes up in the same amounts. So what's the difference between this A flat, right? This A flat to that C is up a major third. Well, how about this E flat to this G? That's a major third. So this section and this section are identical, only the key is changing. So you go through and analyze the rest of the song the way that I just did, the first A and B part, and you'll turn something that on the face of it looks complicated, but when you dig into it, it's not that tough. It's pretty simple. All right, so we're going to erase all of this. And now what I want to do is move this out of the way. And then let's talk about some voicing. In the last couple of videos, I explained to you the big band voicing. That voicing. It's 373. And I told you that voicing, it was made popular in the 40s and 50s by jazz pianists all over the place. So if you listen to music in that era, you hear a lot of this voicing. It's an easy voicing to move around, and to move up, to move here. So that voicing should come to your mind anytime the melody's on a third. And in this song, almost every chord, the melody is on the third of the chord. Watch. F minor, melody's on the third. B flat minor, melody's on the third. Now here's a little switch. A flat major, melody's on the third. Melody's on the third again. Here I'm going to drop to this D minor. Melody's still on the third. Melody's on the third. Melody's on the third. Okay, what was all that? Okay. So now I'm going from the 1 to the 4. I'm just walking there. E minor 7, big band voicing, walks me to the 4, but in this case I'm going to C minor. I'm switching the key. Point here is you see a ton of melody on the third. Gino, if you're watching this video, find your guitar voicing that puts the melody on the third and wear it out. That's your shape you want to use throughout this song. Yeah, your piano players can't get away with that. So, let's go through that again, and with less talking, and I'll pause on these voicings so you can get them. that's the first two sections. That, and then it goes to this bridge part that now this part, this chord right here, I do want to show you this that chord right there. Here's an example of one of those Kenny Barron voicings. I just love this. So when you get to this C section, now the chord is on a D, but the melody's on a D, but the chord is on an A minor. Boy, that's a fourth, and that should clue you in to this voicing right here. Now I could have played this. In other words, I know this A minor. That's my kind of money voicing, and just stretch my finger. I could have done that, but oh my goodness, when you do this, what a difference! What a different voicing makes. I just made that video a day or so ago, so if you haven't watched that, you want these Kenny Barron voicings. So happened to come up right here in that song, in this song. Oops, sorry. Doing here, so A minor to D7 to G, that's just a 2-5-1. There's our third key change. Now we're in the key of G. I'd use the Kenny Barron voicings. There's the melody, and then I just drop to here. So basically, you can call this a D7 with a flatted 9. Or you can call this a diminished chord over D. So much we can pull out of these songs. Our songs are really our best piano teacher. Straighten up and fly right. So now let's go back to the beginning. I showed you the big band voice. Nothing wrong with that at all. But we could kind of hit that up a little bit. So the first thing we can do with a big band voicing is we can take this bottom note to the ninth. Here it is with straight big band. Here it is to the ninth. Okay? And now you want to take that to a little bit of the song. What would that be on B flat? That would be this. Here's big band. Here's the ninth. If you can reach it, there's a ninth. In other words, instead of doubling the root, go ahead and stretch to that ninth. Right hand's going to stay the same. Don't worry, I'm going to change the right hand in just a second. Now go through a little bit of the song like that. Now I'm on E flat. Let's go. Now you tried that. Now that F down there sounds muddy, so I probably wouldn't play it. Now I need an A flat, but I'm going to play an A flat 9 in my left hand. Like that. Okay, let's get another voicing. Let's see if we want, here's big band. I went to the ninth last time. This time I'm going to lose this A flat. See how it's repeated? I'm going to take that here. And now what I have in my right hand is what's called a choral voicing. It's got a very modern sound. B flat to E flat is the fourth. E flat to A flat is the fourth. Add that ninth, you end up with Oh, sorry. I was on the wrong bass note. So here's your voicing. But I derive that from here. Big band voicing is a good bass line. Okay, so I went to 9. Now I went to a quarter voicing, quarto voicing in my right hand. If I wanted to, it's not going to be faithful to this melody, but let's use this opportunity to get a Kenny Barron voicing out of this. You just want to know where that is in F minor. Beautiful. So that's a couple ways you could voice those chords. So now you notice with this chord, unless this songs back then, they were played slow, they were played fast, they were played medium. Same song, you could take it to a lot of different. They would play bossa nova, they would play swing, etc., etc., etc. I'm playing it more like a ballad, so you notice that I appreciate a lot. But that's the notes I'm working with, or this. I'm gonna go over here. I can do the same thing here. I can come up and get a 9th here. 9th really does add soul to almost any chord. I'm gonna play with that chord. Now I could have gone here. Could have gone to this diminished chord. Gives it a kind of a different sound. Or I could go here. Remember, anytime you're on a dominant chord, there's my bass of my chord. I can go up a half step, in my mind anyway, I can go up a half step and play a diminished chord there. Keep the bass there. I'm just thinking here, and I'm thinking E diminished over E flat. Now that gets me to here. On a major chord, I'm always after that 9th. I'm after that 9th. So I went. So here, my right hand, and I'm fire hosing you today, so hopefully my intermediate folks can keep up with this. Here, my right hand is thinking C minor over A flat. Remember the flip it rule that if I'm playing a major chord, so here's a major chord, here's C minor. Now I'm thinking C minor 7 over A flat. I just inverted that, and that's how I came up with that. Okay. All right, so here, let's go through it one more time. Okay, so put put it in the comment section if this was helpful to you. I guess the point of this video, give you a few voicings, a little bit of song analysis at the beginning. Also to let you know that when you study songs, your songs are your best music teachers. They can, because these things we're studying do not just apply to all the things you are. If you learn 2, 5, 1, 6. Well, let's pause on that 6 and let's throw a Kenny Barron voicing on that. In other words, this is how we practice until that voicing just comes out automatically. Okay, so now I want a 2, 5, 1 in F. Okay, so now I got a G minor. Let's see if we can build a Kenny Barron voicing off that. So we got root. Yes, we can. Stop and force yourself to, so we did a 2. And then let's do a C 13. And 2, 5, 1 in F. What's the 6 in F? D minor. Can we build a Kenny Barron voicing off D minor? Let's see. Root. Absolutely we can. Just remember that this thumb to fingers are ninths, thumb to fingers are ninth. So if we're in the key of F, we can go something like beautiful, beautiful. And then you take that around the circle. This is how we practice until these voicing become second nature to us. All right, Mike in Detroit, that's enough thrown at you for today. Throw some comments down if you have any questions or this has helped you a lot. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.